I wait for the red light and then I take orders from that on.
Yeah, right, Dave.
I'd like to call a meeting to order, March 18th, 2025, 6 p.m., regular meeting of the Marquette County Board of Commissioners. I would like to ask if Mr. Oji would start us, and by the way, the Honorable Mr. Jeff Oji is in the house from Humboldt Township. Great to see you here. Would you please start the Pledge of Allegiance for us, Jeff?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We get the justice part.
Okay.
Well, our president is. Thank you, Jeff, for that. We have the agenda in front of us. What's your pleasure?
I would move we adopt the agenda without 10C. Is that what you wanted? To adjourn?
10C is the non-reps appeal packet, as opposed to not going into closed session. You want to hold off on that? Carl, our human resource director's not here tonight.
Molly Strom's not here. I'd be happy to just at least address the issue in closed session if you'd like to do that, and give you the benefit of what I think her recommendation was. But if you want to also table it for right now, we can do that as well.
I think I'd rather Molly be here, don't you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Very good.
There's my motion to adopt the budget or the agenda as presented without 10C.
And remove 10C. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Alholm. Any further questions or comments on the agenda? Aye. Opposed? Make the approved agenda with the correction. Approval of the minutes of the following meeting. Closed session, meeting held on February 18th, closed meeting. Is there a motion?
Move to approve those minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Alholm. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Adamini. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Closed session minutes approved. Regular meeting held on March 4th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Commissioner Lalonde. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Adamini. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Regular meeting approved. Special meeting held on March 10th, minutes.
Move approval as presented.
Support.
Special meeting by Vice Chair Nordine. Support by Commissioner Adamini. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? There's no proclamations, presentations, or awards. Public comment. The first public comment is a 5-minute per person. Public comment. Okay. We'll start here first, and then we'll go online next. You have the floor.
Hi there. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Christy Foy. I'm here representing the Marquette County Conservation District. Thank you so much. I just wanted to hand out our annual report from 2024 for you to take a look at your leisure. It just highlights some of our staff's projects that we did. There's a lot of numbers in there with statistics on some of the work and projects that we did throughout the county last year. On the year in review page, for example, we were able to get 175,000 native trees and shrubs planted throughout the county through our annual tree sale. That annual tree sale is going on right now. It is just it's our largest fundraiser of the year, but it is also a way for us to make native trees, shrubs, and produce items readily available to Marquette County residents. whether very large plantings, whether people that are homesteading or even just landscaping around town. We have lots of native species available for any of those planting needs, and it just also helps to support biodiversity and our natural ecosystems here in the UP. That sale will end in the next 4 weeks. But then we will have our native wildflower sale opening, which last year we put almost 5,000 native wildflowers and grasses into the ground. Again, along with the native tree sale, it really helps support biodiversity, wildlife, helps to conserve water, improve air and water quality with all of these native plants and wildflowers that we make available to the residents. More than 225 site visits, anything from produce safety with our local farms, just ensuring that they are putting safe produce out for consumption in the county, as well as forestry site visits with local landowners regarding invasive species or what they can do for erosion control. Those are starting to ramp up again too, so hopefully we get a nice big number like that again this year. Plenty of outreach events, whether workshops or community events that we're asked to be at. We work a lot with the local schools and local Cub Scout and Girl Scout groups. Always more than happy to be a resource for them for any of their activities. Also volunteer events, well, those will be ramping up again come April here pretty quick. Lots of views, lots of followers, so we're doing lots of great conservation outreach and hitting a lot of outreach view numbers. 6,000 pounds of trash removed through the Adopt a Forest program through public forests in Marquette County. That's state, federal, and county land. If there's ever any issues with illegal dump sites on any, county forest or county land, please reach out to us. The DNR supplies a dumpster as well as all kinds of refunding for any type of disposal fees that we incur. That's a great way to get volunteers involved too. 120 acres of invasive species treated last year, which is really, really great. We also have our SISMA, our invasive species group, on the lookout for the hemlock woolly adelgid, which is the little insect that is spreading through lower Michigan that is a severe threat to our hemlock trees. Most of the hemlock trees in the state are in the UP, and this insect does continue to move aggressively downstate. So we are in the front lines of that. And $289,500 in grant funds last year, new grant agreements. That being said, we do rely heavily on federal grant funds. And with federal funds being frozen right now, we do have sort of an uncertain future. Our projects that we had planned and been awarded right now, we don't know if we will be able to continue to do those projects. We do remain hopeful though, and we'll continue to serve the people of Marquette County and be that liaison between state, federal government, and help out with municipalities in any way that we can. And we will work and do that until we can't keep our doors open anymore. So thank you so much. Please take a look at this when you have time, and always reach out to us with any projects. Yep.
I have a question.
Sure.
Pollinator garden. What's a pollinator garden?
So pollinator garden is going to be, I guess it could be any size, whether it's in a huge field, thousands of square feet, or just locally in the city where we have native plants that pollinators specifically rely on for either host plants to rear their young or for nectar and pollen. So they're going to be these really beautiful native plants that come back every year. They don't require a lot of resources because they have deep root systems, and they don't require watering like annual plants would. And they support pollinators, which also means there's plenty of places for the pollinators to lay their eggs, which is a food source for all of our native bird species, and so on down the food chain. But yeah, we definitely work with private landowners. We do plantings with local school groups, municipalities, and we even are able to donate some of those native wildflowers for the pollinator gardens.
The reason I ask is that pollinators are running into the enforcement of zoning and blight and cutting grass. So when municipalities want people to mow grass, And
Yes.
people are saying, wait a
Yes.
second, I have a pollinator
Yes.
in my front yard.
And we actually work with the city. People call us all the time to ask us to come out and identify whether or not they have pollinator habitat. This happens a lot during No-Mow May. People let it go into No-Mow June and July, and they have these lawns that are just overgrowing, and they don't understand that, no, this is not pollinator habitat. You're letting your lawn grow is not going to help the pollinators. So we can go and help them.
So we can call you in that case, because we're having a problem with townships enforcing that, or grass ordinances and the cities, and they're running into where people are saying, wait a second, I don't have to mow my grass because I'm pollinating the front yard.
We're more than happy to be there to educate, residents on that. Mhm.
Or educate the townships, for that matter.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Thank you for your
Thank you so much.
presentation.
Thank you.
Can I ask
You
one
bet.
question, Chair?
Sure, I guess we let it out there.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, sure,
Right?
quickly, please.
You mentioned federal funding cuts.
Yeah.
How much have you been hitting UP here?
Well, our last year, you can see on the, probably 30% of our funding from last year came from federal funds. That 323,153. And this year would be a similar amount. Even grants that were midway through were frozen. So projects that we already started, we don't know if we're gonna get funding to continue the work.
So 30% of your funding is frozen?
Mhm. Yes, so, yeah, it could be dire here in the near future, but I'm remaining hopeful that those funds will start flowing again and we can continue the great work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christie.
Thank you.
Public comment? Public comment? Electronic? Yes?
We got Lynn Durant.
Okay. Lynn, are you there?
I am, sir. Can you hear me?
We can, you have the floor.
Great, thank you. I just had one item, but I did want to thank the Conservation District myself too for the township. They've been instrumental in helping us with the corridor. You might remember that we're doing kind of a test pilot plan of seeding the corridor right around Crystal Oil off of Commerce Drive. And we're gonna look at it this year and maybe we might have some growth or we might have to wait till next year. But they provided volunteers and helped us out with choosing seeds and they've just been just so helpful. And then they even, you might be aware that we have solar panels next to the township hall that we put up thanks to a good sized grant. And they helped us put some seeds under there too. So, you know, just because they live across the street doesn't mean that they aren't gonna help us too. They've been a great neighbor, and I just wanted to give them kudos. Everybody on their staff is just outstanding. But I did just wanna tell you that the next materials management meeting is tomorrow. No, I'm sorry, Thursday in Escanaba. As far as we know, we aren't sure if there'll be a meeting, whether it's the snowstorm or having a quorum. It's very hard to pull 24 people together from outlying areas, and there was no meeting last month. We haven't met since January, so we'll have to wait and see, and if I can get some kind of report for you next month, maybe I can. We'll wait and see. So no action has really happened with that committee yet, other than picking a chair and kind of setting up some structure. So we're hopeful it'll keep going. That's it, thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. Public comment? Any further public comment? Public comment? Any further electronic? No? Last call public comment from the first public comment portion. We'll close that out. Moving on to review of claims and accounts, total expenditures paid via check and EFT transfer for the period of February 28, 2025 through March 13, 2025 were $507,010.42. This check does not include Delta Co-op Electric, and the biweekly payroll for the period ending March 1st, 2025 was $936,864.73. Your pleasure, board. Motion to pay the bills?
Yep.
Steve Adamini.
Support.
Support. Commissioner Elholm. Any questions or comments on the bills? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pay the bills. Check 1010 dated 3/14/2025 for $402.12 payable to Alger Delta Co-op. There's a standing abstention. Commissioner Elholm is on the board. Is there a motion to pay the bill?
Motion to pay the bill?
Motion by Commissioner Lalonde.
Support.
Support by Vice Chair Nordine. Questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And one abstention. Public hearings. We have one public hearing tonight. Sven, would you come up and I will walk us through? Go ahead. You have the floor for a moment, sir.
Thank you so much. Sven Gonstead, Recreation Specialist, Marquette County. Appreciate your time here. Per initial request by the Sheriff's Department, the Planning Division has been in the process of amending the Marquette County ORV ordinance, last updated in 2013. The amendment brings the ordinance up to date with current terminology and standards, enabling the ordinance to be a more effective tool for law enforcement. The process included outreach to 22 municipalities, various stakeholders, and interest groups to expand on the engagement and outreach that we've done in the past 18 months. We have attended the Marquette County Township Association meeting. We've reached out to the townships individually with a description of the ordinance. We've sent them surveys regarding maps and potential road changes related to the ordinance. We've contacted Ron Yesney with the DNR Trails Coordinator. He sent me a list of the organized ORV organizations to reach out to. I've reached out to Team ORV Club. Additionally, I spoke with Rob Katona, also with the DNR, spoken with, reached out to the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Road Commission as part of that. We sent them notice with via certified mail of the draft ordinance, and that's an initial description of the process. The ordinance focuses on ORV use within the right-of-way, which is why all municipalities have the option to opt out. Those who can opt out can designate roads to prohibit ORVs, which is why we provide the maps to help them designate those roads. We've also got Sergeant Bukarinen. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Here, I've been working with him.
So thank you for that review. So I'd like to open the public hearing at 6, let's call it 17. Okay, so I'm going to read in the public hearing, proposed amendment to Marquette County ORV ordinance. The Marquette County Board of Commissioners invites the public and all interested stakeholders to this public hearing regarding the proposed amendment Marquette County off-road vehicle ordinance. Michigan Transportation, Department of Transportation, Michigan Natural Resources, Marquette County Road Commission, Marquette City, Negaunee City, Ishpeming City, Champion Township, Chocolate Township, Ely Township, Ewing Township, Forsyth Township, Humboldt Township, Ishpeming Township, Marquette Township, Michigamme Township, Negaunee Township, Powell Township, Republic Township, Richmond Township, Sands Township, Scandia Township, Tilden Township, Turn Township, Wells Township, and West Branch Township. All of these individuals were notified by certified letter. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Today's date, 6 p.m., 6/16, 6/17, today at the Henry Skews Annex Building. Purpose of this hearing is to provide public input, to review, comment, and propose changes to the ordinance. The amendment aims at addressing the regulations and more closely to mirror the Michigan State statute and improve the framework for ORV usage in Marquette County. Copies of this ordinance and amendments are available for review and hearing at the Marquette County Clerk's office and on the county website. Those unable to attend in person may submit written comments to the Marquette County Clerk by March 4th, 2025. So that's the memo. We've gone by March 4th, of course.
Did we receive any written comments?
Did we have any comments? No? So, I've asked planning, which is what's attached. We'll take action on it on item, further down on item 10B. But I've asked them to include for the public, so they know the red line changes that have been made to the ORV ordinance. Thank you for that, Sven. That was well done. I think anytime we make broad changes to any group that affects recreation here in Marquette County. Marquette County is a big recreation county, and ORV is an important part of economic development, and I applaud the putting out there exactly what the changes were. It makes it real clean. So that ordinance is for everyone's review and the changes that are made. I guess I would like to move forward, and does anybody have any public comment on this issue? Is there anybody that would like to speak under public comment at the hearing on this issue?
I'd like to speak at public comment.
Go ahead.
A question, really, more than anything. You know, you notified MDOT of our ordinance. However, MDOT roads are not included in this, are they? We can't ride along M553, can we?
That's correct, as I understand it. It was the statute states that we are required to reach out to any entity if it crosses Michigan MDOT road. So.
Okay, so this only affects county roads. We're allowed to operate ORVs in the right-of-ways on county roads unless certain municipalities exclude certain roads or exclude the whole township. I think a couple of townships are excluded completely, aren't they? Isn't the Chalkway and Marquette excluded?
That's correct, they've opted out.
And Sands? I think Sands was too, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Did you check with them why they're opted out? Did you ask them at all?
Well, each municipality has their own reasons. So, you know, in regard to Chalkley, they have a certain situation near the casino and that they want to maintain control. So each one has their own story.
So thank you.
Yeah,
Any
thank
further
you.
questions?
No.
Any more public comment? Any further public comment? So one of the concerns that I had was that over time, the DNR had made an effort with the road commission to try to move all ORVs onto the trails, right? And not allow the county to use the county road access. And that was a big concern I had, but this does not address that. The shoulders of the road, of the county roads, are still open to ORVs, and they're not impeded by these changes. In fact, I believe we've now got wider path to be able to accommodate little wider ATVs or side-by-sides. So one of the things I had submitted late in the day today that I got from a constituent was in regards to the individuals that are handicapped being able to use the trail system. Did you get a copy of that today at all?
I did see that, yes.
Is that something that we need to plug into this to discussion?
That's a good question, Chairperson.
Would you be?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I guess you as the director, could you see clear in adding that state component or that component to our current trail system to allow disabled individuals to utilize the trail system? I think that's an important piece.
Why wouldn't they always be able to? I guess I misunderstand. What's the issue?
Width, I believe, right? Width.
Well, as I understand it, they can still use the trails.
Okay.
I guess my initial response is I would
see.
want to review the state statute
Yes.
that touches on that, and more specifically. So, I mean, because really that's the idea of this ordinance is to be able to use the state statute as the reference.
Right. I was just concerned that maybe we wanted to make sure that they didn't get left out. And
Yeah.
Tara, yeah, I see you now. Come on up, sure. I couldn't see, Swen had you blocked, yeah.
So I saw that comment, and I think if civil council could review
and offer an opinion on the act that this is built off of, because that seems to be one of 18 different sections.
Got it.
So when I look at this, I think that a separate municipality, not the county, although the county could probably do that, but I think it's more on the township and city
Okay.
Side of things to consider passing an ordinance that would allow disabled persons to operate within their municipality.
Right. Well, it was more of an informational piece that had been sent to me, and I wanted it brought in at the public hearing for discussion. Yeah. Okay. So, whether we consider to look at that in the future, is that where we could leave that?
Yep.
That civil council can look over that statute, and if it needs to be executed, the planning group is good with that, right?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, any more public comment? Any further comment, public comment? Public hearing?
We have one online.
I have one question.
Oh,
Just a more clarification on the inclusion of electric power ORVs vehicles. Is it vehicles or electric bikes?
No, like e-bikes you're
Yeah, because I
referring to? No.
wasn't sure if that's,
Yeah, that doesn't apply to this ordinance.
okay, very good.
Craig?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna stand up. Craig Wilson, president of the Horsehead Snowmobile ATV Club. What is section 10? Operation of an ATV or ORV prohibited acts, crash helmet, and protective eyewear required assumption of risk referred to as defined. That doesn't really make sense to us. Or I wasn't really quite sure what that meant. Are you trying to force everyone to wear a helmet, whether it's, whether you had if you got a seatbelt and windshield?
Yeah, so, and maybe Sergeant Lupernik can speak to this, but as I understand it, the ordinance, if the vehicle has a seatbelt and a windshield, a helmet is not required.
Okay, it just didn't make.
But I don't think that's what it says.
What section are we on?
Section 10 on page
I
4.
I had similar questions about that prior to this as well. I'm not sure that it defines that.
But because in a previous section, it does define that as, it basically, I'm just paraphrasing, helmet's not required and eyewear is not required if the vehicle's got an approved roof and roll cage and windshield, DOT windshield.
Right, and then it circles back to it in another section that it's needed.
I guess,
Yes.
yeah, in the county ordinance, I guess it's what we would want to refer to versus the DNR. I think we're looking at that.
I'm looking at the,
You're looking at the markup?
I'm looking at.
Oh, okay.
So maybe this is for a question for law enforcement. Arrow, do you have experience in whether the Michigan statute allows for an individual to drive side-by-sides without a helmet? Or is that actually something that...
No, under that, natural resources.
Come on up to the podium, please. Come on up.
Okay, the 324-81-133, that whole public act is the conservation-related law that pertains to ORVs. And I think, a lot compared to the 2008, 2013 ordinance, it just kind of streamlined it where it actually jumped right into the environmental protection, the 451 Act. So then, because it's always revolving and changing, the width laws changed over the last couple of years.
Right.
CC requirements are getting different over the years, and I think that's where, if you categorize it as just under that public act, then if the Department of Natural Resources changes their requirements, then it automatically changes under the ordinance to just kind of make it easier. So if you're driving a side-by-side, as long as you got an approved roll cage from the manufacturer and you're wearing a seatbelt, you do not have to wear a helmet.
Clear,
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Yep, no problem.
That's what I was
Yep,
looking for.
okay.
Just wanting to make sure that side-by-sides in Marquette County, that we're clear on seatbelt,
Yep.
roll cage.
If they decide
windshield,
not
yep.
to wear their seatbelt, then they have to wear a helmet.
Eye
They have to wear
protection, yep.
Correct.
Got it.
It wasn't clear because it referred to that DNR
Right.
section, but
Thank you for that. So any further public comment on this before I close out the hearing? Any further public comment? Swen, do you have anything you'd like to add? Oh, thank you. So, hearing none, need a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Commissioner Alholm, is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Lalone. All in favor of public hearing closed? Aye. Close the public hearing at 6:30, Linda. Moving right along. Privilege comment. Director Carlstrom, would you take the...
Hello, Commissioners. So I shared with you our 2024 annual report for the Planning, Community Development, Forestry, and Recreation Commission. We are a division of the Resource Management Department. I guess we like long titles. So this is an opportunity to share with you and our partners what we've been up to, but it also allows us staff to kind of reflect on the past year and be proud of our work as well. We wear many hats, and we also assist county administration, other departments, municipalities, community organizations. We are guided by the county's master plan, the county's strategic plan. I will say the master plan is up for a 5-year update next year. For me, my takeaways from 2024 is we got really creative. We were able to build capacity within our division, utilizing opportunities such as the My Healthy Climate Corps program. We went after and captured lots of grants, lots of funds, and we're using those funds to carry out goals of our master plan. We've built partnerships, a lot of partnerships in this process, and that surprisingly takes a lot of time and effort to do. If you have questions about anything in here, happy to answer. But I do want to bring your attention to the back page, the Silver Lead Creek Greenway project. That is a project that kind of encompasses everything that we do here, and it's been a very exciting project. It's centered in K.I. Sawyer, and we're calling it intentional community development. We've established a public greenway, and we are this summer going to be completely renovating Little Trout Lake Park and developing a trail, a non-motorized trail from Little Trout Lake Park at least through to where the K.I. Sawyer Fitness Trail is, along the creek. But we have plans to continue that, further. We just need to find some more funding. But we've developed dozens of partnerships in that area, and I'm seeing organizations investing, and I'm excited to hopefully see the private, sector start investing as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Tara?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I was looking at the planning team, so you have Quinn Tebow and Nico Vermat as cohorts. What are cohorts?
So that is they're part of the My Healthy Core program that I mentioned. Quinn has completed her time here. Nico's here through October 2025. So this is a program through CEDM and Eagle. And so it was a grant, an opportunity that we applied for, and I think the county has paid $10,000, for example, for Nico, but we get him as a full-time staff member for a year.
But we don't pay for that. It's a temporary. It's just a 1-year thing.
It was a $10,000 amount that we had to pay. HR, all of that is done through CEDM, the CEDM program.
Is that Martin Vermat's son?
I'm sorry?
Is that Martin Vermat's son? Do you know?
Is he the judge?
Yeah. I was curious. And then the other one, I see you got Kurt Bates from the North Star Academy High School. What's that?
He was a high school senior intern that we took on.
A paid thing? A paid or unpaid?
Unpaid. It was through his senior program. And
Nice,
he
okay.
helped us out and was really enthusiastic about scanning documents, so. it's very good.
Okay. All right, thanks. I'm
Okay.
just curious about who they were.
Thank you. Any further questions for Tara?
The Workforce development, would that be part of your workforce development plan?
Yeah.
The unpaid internship, giving people an introduction to work?
Correct. Yeah.
But it looks like you had a lot of activities too. I don't even know where to start. I started listing and it's like 13, but it's more than that listed in here. But between the climate action plan and our energy audit and emergency management, local support, like, they do a lot. They do a lot. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions for Tara? Thank you, well job done. I like the colored version that we have.
That's very nice.
I
yeah.
like that, yeah. Andrew, Brownfield Authority, you have the floor.
Thank you, Commissioners. We've got in front of you also on fancy paper a annual
Yes.
report from the Brownfield Authority. This is a separate authority to which you appoint the members. So we've got a great group of individuals there that get together and they serve 3-year terms. Our brownfield work kind of falls into 2 buckets. The first bucket would be EPA funding that we've received. We've been fortunate to receive 2 awards from EPA. The first was $400,000, the second was $300,000. And so the first part of the report talks about the businesses that benefited from those funds in 2024. That's for assessment work, so it's all your pre-development work that you have to do. Phase 1 environmental assessments, asbestos surveys, things like that. Of note, we've spent all that money. We did submit an application in the fall for more. I'm not holding my breath. It's highly competitive, for one, and 2, with all the federal funding cuts, I'm not sure if we'll get that pot of funding replenished. So that's kind of sad, because businesses certainly have come to rely on that as an opportunity in Marquette County, but we should find that out in the spring, one way or the other. The other bucket of work that we do is actual implementation of brownfield plans, and so the rest of the report really talks about those brownfield plans that have been approved by this board in the county. Every brownfield plan that's adopted has to go to the local unit of government first and then to this board for approval. So there are a couple on there on the back page that are paid in full, developers paid in full, and that project is on the tax roll. The rest of them are in progress, and we're making payments to these developers over a period of time until they're reimbursed in full.
Thank you. Any questions for Ann? So I have one, Ann. So I look at the Brownfield Authority and the land bank, similar in some degree. Wondering if there's a way to consolidate that for efficiencies, or in the future, is there a,
So
has that ever been thought about?
They are very different, but they partner with each other a lot. And they do in the enabling legislation that creates each of them, they are referred to, and so all land bank owned property is automatically brownfield eligible, things like that. I look at the land bank as more of a tool to acquire and hold property. Brownfield is a tool for financing and getting grants and cleaning up contaminated sites and things like that. But there has been some talk in other parts of the state about having one board to do the work of both. I am not aware of any boards that have combined yet. Certainly staff people, I mean, for many years when I was treasurer, I supported both of them, right? And so there certainly are some directors and staff people that support them both, but I'm not aware of any boards yet that are combined.
I'm curious as to if we could look at that in the future on how there could be some efficiencies, because we now have 2 boards, we have 2 separate, and the land bank certainly has been successful in obtaining funding and has a full staff that maybe could help with more brownfield projects, right? Just thinking out loud. So
yeah,
for
it would be a
conversation.
good thing for those 2 boards to talk about. Karen can attest to how full our meetings are at the land bank every month, and the brownfield is also can be very complicated, so the board members takes them a few years to really catch on to how tax increment financing works, but it's something that definitely could be explored. And it hasn't not been talked about, right?
Right.
Like it has been discussed in the state,
Okay.
trying to do that, yeah.
Well, we'll stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving right along. Informational items. Let's go to action items. DNR, Michigan DNR Recreation Trust. So, are we back to Swen on this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see, if you want to go ahead into it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're applying for a recreation passport grant. Essentially, the goal of this grant application is to leverage existing capital funding and expand some projects that we want to accomplish at Perkins Park. Some of the scope items are, just some general improvements in parking and improve the showers and, general maintenance sort of thing.
So the bottom line here is, I'll read in the resolution if the board so chooses they want to go down this path. But I have a question. Do we have funds available and for matching the grant?
Yes, within the Parks Fund, we do.
Okay, so we're covered there. So at the board's pleasure, if you want to.
I don't think it's necessary to read it in.
I don't have, okay, I don't,
I'd
we
be
have.
happy to, I move that we adopt the resolution as presented by staff.
Okay, motion on the floor by Vice Chair Nordine. Support by Commissioner Elholm. Any further questions or comments? Roll call vote on this one?
Yeah, resolution, yeah.
Commissioner Nordine,
Yes.
Commissioner Elholm,
Yes.
Commissioner Adamini,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
and Chairperson DeRosa.
Yes. Moving on to 10B, Marquette County ordinance for ORV amendment. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I move to adopt the proposed amendment to the ORV ordinance.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Elholm. Is there support?
Motion to support.
Support by Commissioner Lalonde. Any further questions or comments?
It's an ordinance. I don't know, do we need roll call?
Roll call vote?
For an ordinance?
We can do roll call.
Probably. Be on the safe side.
Sure.
Commissioner Elholm,
Yes.
Commissioner Adamini,
Yes.
Commissioner Malone,
Yes.
Commissioner Nordine,
Yes.
and Chairperson DeRosa.
Yes. 10C has been removed. 10D, Johnson Controls Service Proposal Recommendation. So I have a recommendation from staff which details a 1-year and a 3-year contract. Staff is recommending a 3-year plan. I've got some issues with this. We've in the past have certainly had Johnson Controls do a maintenance agreement. I look at this now and I'm thinking, we have this maintenance agreement, if you read into this, has included the Mag Farm that's been closed for 5 years. Although we still have the heat on, that's a separate issue we're going to address with the sheriff's office in the future, that needs to be. Also, some of our new facilities that we just set up don't have Johnson Control boilers, although we do have the Metasys system, which runs the controls, both pneumatic and electrical. But I don't see that spending almost $90,000 worth of tax money is a good value here at this point. If anybody'd like to dive in, if Don wanted to make comment, he can.
I'd like to speak for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
My name is Don Bianchi. I'm the facilities manager here at the County of Marquette, and I've dealt with Johnson Controls since we've been here. They have been our service provider for our air conditioning, heating, put it shortly, HVAC systems. here at the county, the complex, the Mag Farm, Nagani, and Ishbury. I've had basically worry-free service from them, and we have deposited a ton of money into the Medisys system, which is a controlling system, computerized system, digital, to keep on top of our systems if something goes haywire. Johnson Control takes care of everything, basically, other than a mechanical breakdown or Freon, which means it's basically, unless we burn up a motor or a compressor like we did last year up in Nagani, it's covered. The breakdown is that even if we go forward with some of the improvements that have been spoken of, one of them is a new jail or remodeling the old jail system here, we would still need some sort of controlling system. I'm here to speak on hopefully saving some money, that on a 3-year program that they've offered us, it would be 3% a year increase. That is not guaranteed if we do a 1 year. And that's about all I have to say on that. If there's any questions,
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Alholm.
The memo to us states that the 3-year service agreement can be modified at any time with no penalty. So if something, as Chairperson Rocha pointed out, to close down Magnum and those
Yes.
needed, can we modify it?
Yes, we can modify it. We'd have to go through Johnson Controls on it.
Okay, so I'd like to weigh in at this point. So, I just have one question. So, when we had a broken boiler pipe, several weeks ago in the jail, if we have a maintenance contract and a maintenance plan and direction for staff, why are we calling Dressler to come and repair the boiler issue? So I don't see value to spending $90,000 with Johnson Control when we've got a third-party contractor coming in to do repairs. So those are my concerns, and I guess I'll leave it at that.
Well, see, I don't.
Him to be able to answer that.
Sure. Yeah.
One, I wasn't here. Two, I didn't approve Dressler being called. My own maintenance group could have fixed it.
Again, that would go back, and I don't want to get in a public debate here, but that would go back to, if we have a contract for $90,000, why aren't they here at 3 in the morning doing the repairs?
I was saying 90, but that's over 3 years. It's
Yes.
90, it's 26,000 a year. But here's my question: is that if we didn't, first of all, I don't know what this $26,000 a year covers. I mean, should it have covered that, them to come out and repair that broken pipe? I don't know that.
It would be an immediate that they would clear the deck to come out. It doesn't cover costs of the pumps or any of the other things that could potentially break.
So if we
And by the way, we don't have all Johnson Control boilers. So this is only pertinent to the Medisys system and controls, and Don can go into later.
But what do we do? Let me finish a little bit. So what do we do if we don't have this contract with Johnson Controls and a pipe breaks? What do we do then?
They still come out and we pay for it.
Or you just pay as you go?
And if we don't have the Medisys system, we would go at it blindly. Something can
Well,
happen and we wouldn't know about
And the
it.
reason I ask that is I'm confused about it, is that I remember in the last 20 years, repeatedly, that Scott Urbis would come up and say, we have to sole source these things to Johnson Controls because they're the only people in the game.
Right.
So
Yeah,
now we're saying
right.
we're not. So I mean, so now that makes me a little bit like, makes me turn my head and say, what? So, I mean, are they not the only people in the game, or they are, and you're saying that we're still gonna call them, but we just don't need the contract, and we're gonna take our chances and go, as you know?
Yeah, they got.
I don't know.
Can I just clarify, so the meta system that?
Medisys system, yes.
Medisys system that Johnson provides that?
Yes.
Under this contract, and so if we didn't have it, the system lets us know if something's going on?
Yes, it monitors all our systems.
And we wouldn't have that otherwise?
No, they would not allow us to use it if we didn't pay for it.
Okay, and we monitor that internally, or do they?
We monitor it on the computers, and my maintenance people get an automatic call if something goes haywire
I don't know.
on their pagers.
I don't understand this issue.
So are you telling me that the new controls and the Metasys system we have requires a $30,000 annual maintenance agreement? Because I don't think that's accurate.
No, I don't believe it.
So so I think what Commissioner Lalone asked, does the Metasys system still function and you still have access to your controls, whether Johnson Control has a service contract or not?
We do not have Metasys if we don't buy it through Johnson Controls.
But we own the Metasys system now. Is that, I mean, we're not renting it.
We're renting it.
No, so the control work and the computer, all of that belongs to the county. That's county
Right.
property. That can be, that functions independently whether Johnson Control is in business or out of business,
Okay.
No,
correct?
I thought he said we're renting that equipment.
No.
Well, he just said they were renting. That's what I'm saying. I'm very uncertain about this whole thing.
That's where, I don't,
The equipment that's installed, the hardware we paid for.
correct.
But will it work without
We
the
paid
service
for the
contract?
computer program.
Okay. We pay them for the service
Yes.
contract for the computer program.
And for them to update it, service it, make sure it works properly.
So this pricing includes that Metasys system, check, contact?
Yes,
I'm trying to think of the word, they contact you when something goes wrong through that system.
yes.
And so, just,
Yeah, go
so,
ahead.
because I'm trying to, so whoever was on, when you were on vacation, instead of doing what they were supposed to be doing, they called the wrong place. When we had an issue with the boiler?
They got notified, they showed up, they shut the water down. I'm just going by what I've been told since I got back from vacation. I'm sorry I wasn't here to, and,
You're allowed to go on a vacation.
But there's supposed to be a procedure in place that when you're gone, it's everything's still taken
Right.
care of.
there was an on-call person, they were called, they showed up, one of the other guys came in, they shut the water down, so the flooding didn't continue, and they started.
And the toilet stopped working in the jail, yes, okay,
Everything stopped.
yes. So then what happened though, to finish, that's what you're asking, right? So what happened? So you got notification, somebody got notification that, hey, we got a broken pipe here. So somebody comes on and shuts the water
They
off.
started the repair procedure on it.
Okay,
And someone who wanted it done, as he would say, properly or quicker to get the system back in operation called Dressler. And the job, as far as I know, was 3/4 of the way done before they showed up.
well, the problem I have with all this is that I was always led to believe that we needed this service contract to make all the Johnson Controls work. If we don't, I'm happy with that too, but I'm not sure. Now, I don't feel real confident, and it makes me nervous that, well, you say that, but just because you have the hardware doesn't mean you can work it. I mean, maybe you're paying to use their software and their programming and their everything. I don't know that.
Was this something that should go on bid? Because if there's other people that can bid for it and we're not
never bid it.
required to go with Johnson.
We sole source this all the time in the
We
last
did.
20 years, 'cause I remember it was always a big issue.
So the last development at the Nagani Center was bid out by our engineer. And they did a third-party bid, and they didn't put in Johnson Control boilers. That's just, and this all came from Johnson Control, so. And if you look at what this contract reads and you spend some time reading it, you will see it wants to list what's covered and what isn't, and, so, I guess I know a little bit about this, that we don't, Don, if you go to the computer, can you adjust the boiler temperature?
Yes.
Then you have control of the Metasys system.
Will you still be able to do it if we don't do this contract? That's the question.
I do not believe so.
Oh,
Okay.
So do we need Johnson Control to come in here and explain to us what they can do and can't do?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm confused by the whole thing, so. I just don't want, I don't want something if we don't need it. I'm okay with that, I thought, Mr. Chair, but I don't want us to not do it, and then next week, Don says, yeah, I can't turn the heat up and down because I don't have control of it anymore. I don't want that either, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
I don't know what the truth of it is.
Well,
There you go.
How much of a savings are we getting by using Johnson Control? Like, how many times do we have to use them for certain things?
They do our spring startups, our fall startups, our shutdowns, the monitoring of the medicine systems. To be perfectly honest, we've been lucky. We have a lot of very old equipment, and it's held together. We had a major failure at Nagani last year with the air conditioning system. I would say 12 times a year I call them. When it's something that my people can't handle.
You know, why don't we have somebody here from Johnson Controls? I mean, here's a contract.
Yeah.
Which is,
I'm good
okay,
with that.
with $100,000 over 3 years. I mean, realize
can
that,
do that.
but why don't we have someone here? I mean, if they want us to do a contract with them, they should have somebody standing here talking to us.
Okay.
I'd be more than happy to have Johnson Control sitting here,
Yes.
and then I can ask him direct questions, because
Okay.
he's not employed by us, right? So I'd be fine doing that.
And they'd be fine coming.
That's
I
right,
can
that's what
make
we
the
need.
arrangements for the next meeting.
Sure. Can we put this off then? Yeah, I agree.
So do we table this?
Yeah.
So are we done with our existing contract? Can we keep them on until we?
They are keeping us on right now.
Oh, it's already it's already over?
So I guess I would say if they were really monitoring like it's being presented, then they should have known there was a broken pipe and a boiler went down at 3 o'clock in the morning in our jail when we had that issue, and they should have put their boots up and took off and came down to the county to resolve the issue. That tells me it's not being monitored. I don't, and I'm more than happy to dive into that issue this week.
Well, maybe it
with
was
them.
his staff that was supposed to be doing that, and I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, no, we just talked about that it's a service contract that they monitor, and that they have round-the-clock monitoring, and I don't think that's, if they do, then they weren't available and they didn't come in if you're gonna have that, so, again, I guess if there's a motion on the floor to,
We have no motion yet.
no motion, okay.
We can either have a motion table, or you can just move it to the next meeting. You're the chair, and you can do that.
We can move it to the next meeting if you so choose. I think it's a waste of money, but.
Well, I don't understand it. I'm not saying it's not, and
Yeah.
if they are charging us to do, what do you call it, camp, then I think that's an issue, but that's our issue. I mean, are we really heating that place out there still?
Yeah, that's a whole other issue.
That's a whole other
Don't even
issue.
go down that one. Well, I'm saying that I don't think, a maintenance service contract, is efficient with our tax dollars for a company who's very good at what they do. They're top notch. You know, there's no question, and I think this is an extra grab, you know, and if we thought Johnson Control was such quality product, we should have went with their boilers when we did new construction. We didn't do that. We piecemealed it, and now we're going to give, you know, almost $90,000 over a 3-year maintenance contract that I don't see has any value, so.
Well,
But we'll readdress this if the board's okay at the next meeting.
With this company here to talk to us about it.
Yeah, I'd like to ask them some questions, for
Sure.
sure. Yeah.
I will
Let's get to
get
the bottom of
a
that.
Sure.
couple representatives to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Fourth quarter budget amendments, E, Ann.
Yes, so as part of our audit that will be happening in the next couple of months, we cannot exceed our budget. So at the end of the year, I always bring a rather large, this one's not too bad, budget amendment request to you to essentially kind of clean up where we ended up the end of 2024. So I am happy to answer any questions or get into further detail on any of the budget amendments that are before you, if you'd like.
So we have the fourth quarter budget amendments in front of us for review. Any questions or comments? Look for a motion to wrap up the fourth quarter 2024.
I guess I do have a question. So Homeland Security, the Stone Garden grant, we pay for that, but we get it reimbursed, right?
We do. So if you look at that, you'll see the expense and then a revenue grant item down below. And I always wait to the end of the year on that one because we never really know what it's going to be. They had a couple of equipment purchases this year, and then it's a lot of overtime wages, and we just really never know till the end of the year what it's going to be.
And the only other one I'd have a question on is the election. So the election cost went up by $94,000, so.
Same
more of a
thing
Linda
though.
thing, right?
Yeah, same thing. There was grant revenue that offset that, some of the early voting stuff that Linda was able to
Okay.
get, yeah.
All right, that's all. Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Motion?
Oh, I'll make a motion to have these 13 budget amendments as recommended by staff.
Is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Lalonde. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 2025, Ann, you're still up.
Yes, second batch. We always do this at the first part of the year as well. So every year we have some capital projects that weren't quite completed. And so they are in the 2024 budget, but haven't been put in the 2025 budget. So this is basically, I call it a roll forward amendment. We're rolling forward any of those capital projects that weren't done. There's a couple of ARPA funded projects on there as well.
So we'd look for a motion to 2025 budget amendments. Is there a motion on the floor?
I don't know.
Motion by Commissioner Alholm. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Commissioner Adamini. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Budget amendments, and Airport Advisory Board appointments. So last meeting, we appointed 5 of the 7 that had applied. And in our agreement with Invest UP and the LSCP, there can be 2 members that would be elected or other. So we're down to the last 2 to fulfill the board and start moving forward with Baldwin and Associates to develop a strategic plan on how we move forward at Sawyer to make Sawyer best in class. Commissioner Adamy? Yeah.
Well, I would nominate you
As the elected?
yes, because you're going to be the one that everybody looks to on this project. And I, with the other 3, I don't know if you're, how you.
So I guess let's do I guess we could do a roll call like we did in the past.
I would, although I would lean toward Charles Hallsworth.
Okay, so let's do this. So,
Well, first, before he has a motion.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it would have been my motion to say, let's let the 3 who are there yet, and see who gets the most votes.
And part of your motion was to have Joe as the.
Yes, Joe,
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now, okay, and I'll support that for conversation. However, and I'm good with that, and I know there's a lot of development going on at Sawyer, I'm gonna be. Although Karen has always been on the airport advisory board, so I don't want to hurt her feelings with this whole thing either, so there you go, Karen. What's your thoughts?
No, that's fine. Joe wants to be on it, so I will step aside.
And as far as myself, I mean, that's my district, but I'm kind of
Well-
inherently there anyway, so that's not a problem.
Where I would go with that is it would be good to be on that board as the elected official as we move forward for the inception of the development of the direction and then nothing down the road, we may have some of the other board members that may end up with conflict or we'll replace more with electeds as well as we move forward. So it's not, this isn't in stone. And you're right, that is your district. But I think you're pretty busy with jail
I am
right now.
very busy with jail right now.
Okay. So we have a motion and support on the floor. How would we vote for the third person? I think, line by line, you want to start, Bill?
Yeah, Halder's the guy from Holiday Inn in Vermont, and
He's the hospitality guy, yes.
So, yeah, I'd vote for Halsworth.
And then, do you want me to just go around the table?
Adam, yes, go ahead. You want to start with?
Commissioner Adamini, who would you pick out of this three? Holster, Durand, or Holster?
Holsworth.
Commissioner Malone?
Charles Holsworth.
Commissioner Elmo?
Holsworth.
And Chairperson DeRosa.
I'll make it unanimous for Holsworth.
We stand united.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, we need a...
We need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, motion carried. Pathways of Board appointment.
Do we need to support the recommendation as you as the elected? Because he made the motion for you to be the elected on that board.
He did.
I didn't hear a second.
Bill seconded it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Bill seconded it. Pathways Board appointment. So we have one term ending, attached is received in the office, and it's Jim Nankervis. Recommendation for staff to reappoint Jim Nankervis on Pathways.
I support that.
Motion by Commissioner Malone, is there support?
Support.
Support by Vice Chair Nordine. Any further questions or comments?
No, I think
All
Jim
in
Jim Nam, are we doing discussion?
That's what I just asked. Any further questions or comments?
I think he'll be a great one on the board, because he's been on it, and he's our Ishpeming Township Supervisor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Low late additions. Public comment. 3-minute public comment at the end of the meeting. Public comment? Public comment. Any further public comment? Any electronic participation? No?
2 people, but none
Okay.
commenting.
All right. We'll close the public comment period. Commissioners' comments. Steve?
This has been an interesting meeting. But I think we're making progress here.
Okay. Commissioner Lalone?
On just an update on CAM, I went to my first meeting and they voted, because by their bylaws, they still had to vote me in, and they voted unanimously to have me on that board. The next meeting is Thursday, March 27th, if I have my date right, at noon or 11.
What happened to the contract?
That was, went into closed session, and then we decided to table that until the next meeting because they wanted more of the board there.
So they didn't,
27th, she said.
they didn't take action because they didn't have enough
Thursday the 27th.
board members to vote?
They had.
Did they have a quorum?
They had a quorum.
They must have, because they voted to put her on, but they didn't, they wanted more there to talk about that contract. They just didn't, they wanted more
Okay.
more
Yep.
than a quorum.
Yeah, but
I can't discuss what happened in closed
Right,
session.
that's
No.
interesting.
We don't want to hear what
No,
happened.
no. Karen? Okay.
Oh, and then my other, just a quick thing, because I did go to the sorry, not my Peter White, I was a library person for a long time. The Negaunee Public Advisory Board meeting today, as a public person, just to listen, and they talked about the federal cuts happening, by the current executive order by our president, and how it'll affect the libraries and museums, and it could affect all of our Marquette interlibrary loan summer program, in 6 months. And it's just something that we should think about as a county, because that'll hit all of our libraries. It'll affect all of our libraries and the services they can provide.
Okay.
I guess I have one thing. So the jail, we're moving further, more forward on the jail thing. We got more information about possible locations. And so Ann and Tira and myself and Lowell talked about that today. And now we're going to have a committee meeting, a full committee meeting, and look at our locations.
Do you have a date for that yet?
I have a note to
ask?
to catch you after this meeting.
Okay.
And Dana, so we're talking about maybe the 1st of April at 2 o'clock?
April 1st
The
at
Tuesday?
2:30.
But so we looked at some things, we're trying to narrow it down. You know, our consultants want to come before the board, and we need a committee to have a consensus to come to the board before we do it. And so now, we don't think that can happen in April. We think it's probably going to be May, but we do want to keep having some forward progress here. Steve? So, this question.
Everything I've checked, I cannot find anything that says it needs, 5, to have that done.
Right.
I can show you the post.
I don't know what you mean, 5 what now? 5 what?
She is saying that it has to be a unanimous vote.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Well,
I said they wanted to table it until more of their board was there.
Oh, back to camp, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
yeah.
I was like, what the jail, sorry.
Right.
All right, I'm done with my comment, which was that we're moving forward to jail, and we're gonna have a committee meeting, and we hope to bring something to the board as a whole in May.
Yes, thank you. Keep up the.
but I don't think that was that in the,
I don't know what's going on with Cam.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what's going on with Cam and on the whole thing.
So,
Well, I would suppose it's a major decision.
Right.
And they want more of their members to participate.
right.
Whether they have to or not, Steve said they don't have to.
So I'll weigh in real quick on that. I had reached out to several board members that I knew, had a discussion, and of course, part of the, was we had information of deficiencies and write-ups, and, the denial of that there's never been any of that and nobody ever knew it is just simply wrong. In fact, publicly come out and say we're on a plan to address the deficiencies. We're on a deficiency plan to fix everything. Well, if you never knew anything was wrong, why are you on a deficiency plan? So it's a lot of bullshit that I see. I don't like it. I'm a little trouble. One of the board members I reached out to, and he simply doesn't think it's appropriate for me to call and ask questions about the CAM's business. So they can do what they need to do over there. But I don't see how Marquette County can continue to spend money if we don't have accountability.
She did acknowledge that she got that plan during our board meeting, but she chose not to contest it, which was strange, because she was at this meeting saying she didn't know why she was on it and didn't have a copy of it.
Right.
But we do.
So that's all I have. I don't think there's anything else.
What about staff comment?
Staff.
Carl, you have something to say?
I do.
You're usually so quiet over there, like a little mouse today. Go ahead,
Because
Counselor.
I'm always thinking.
You have the floor.
So I just want to this is completely off topic to anything that we've talked about yet, but just want to acknowledge and recognize sometimes it's worth saying out loud that our community is incredibly blessed with a very rich arts and culture environment, which includes theater, music, recreation, history, and all those things are coming together tomorrow night at the History Center with two movies by an independent movie producer named Dan Aho, and one of the movies happens to feature my daughter, and the tickets are $20, and which it goes to support our community arts and culture, and it's going to be a great event. I checked in with them today; they've only got 50 tickets left.
She gets her singing talent from her mother, I take it?
Definitely not from her father.
So do you know what they're gonna do if we have
What if it snows?
closings tomorrow?
They already said they're going forward regardless of the snow tomorrow. We're Yoopers, we can get there.
CFO Andrew, do you have comment?
Do not.
Are you CFO?
It's not my title, but Joe likes to call me
Well,
that.
well, isn't that your title? It is your title. And the CFO's for how long?
Well, he called Tara the director today.
That's
so-
not my
Director, okay.
but it's okay.
Well, you can
I know
straighten
what
me out.
you mean.
You can straighten me out. Linda, are you still the clerk?
I haven't changed roles yet.
Yeah. Do you have any?
Do you have any comments?
No.
Hearing none, meeting adjourned.